Hello, George F551 as this thing is on manual focus. There we go. We're here at Mechanic Street here in Leominster, Mass. And I'm doing a video that I was wanting to do for years and finally got to it because there's news. There's Cuteek's Furniture and what have not. Apparently they also own the upstairs now, which is pretty good. They must be doing pretty well if they now have 2 floors. Is in 2018, supposedly starting spring 2018, we are going to have a rail trail that connects downtown Leominster, supposedly going to start here at Mechanic Street at one point, all the way to a park downtown Fitchburg, and we are going to hike it. Now it's all on this abandoned railway, although this part of it is not, and from right here onward, it's just a small piece that still exists, but it's mostly torn apart. And let's start the trek. So basically, the initial phase, if you want to call it that, is that they are going to span from that park downtown Fitchburg to where the former Kentucky Fried Chicken is, which is now a Sookie's Burgers and Fries. We'll show you that when we get there. But ultimately, they want to go down this railroad track all the way to Mechanic Street where we just were. Now, this is going to be a long hike. It's going to be about a 6-miler. So when it's safe to do so, I'm going to speed up, so you might hear some heavier breathing. And we might have to stop the camera every now and then to cross streets, because nowhere in this path do we have right of way. We might even have to find an intersection to cross an illegal spot. We're good here. Here's the old train station from Leominster. I think the movie was School Ties. It was shot in the early 90s, but they used this as a bus station. As you can see, the signage is still there. Scranton, Pennsylvania Bus Depot. Of course, that's when the Columbia was still standing. That burnt down. This is also a point right here where they might start the Leominster route. And we got trucks, pallets, and everything where the actual track is supposed to be, so obviously we can't walk on that. Now, as I've probably alluded to, if not, I'm bringing it up now, is my hand was stuck on a little flap on the camera, hence that little noise you might have heard. There is supposedly a section of this that is washed out somewhere along the way. I know for a couple miles that this is good. I've used it before. Somewhere near Fitchburg or in Fitchburg, there's a washout. Not sure if it's a huge one, or if it's scalable or not, or if I have to walk a long distance before we have to turn around perhaps, and if I have to walk a really long distance to find the washout, then I'm just calling it done, because I'm not in the mood to walk an extra 2 miles round trip just to continue at a point we left off. And we're going to aim over this way. This is downtown, residential land. This is part of it. Loud, annoying dogs. Yeah, it's too close for comfort. We're in a public space, so that guy's right to privacy was null and void, but in such a confined area, we're just gonna let that be. And this house took advantage of the abandoned railroad, and squatters' rights claim this is theirs, but if the rail trail starts at Mechanic Street, they're going to lose this spot. And here's another street we got to cross. Summer Street, pretty easy usually. Now it starts to get challenging when it comes to street crossings. We're in Carter Park. This used to be where the rails went right through. I can't remember the president. Well, I should say the presidential candidate. I think it was Roosevelt or earlier, maybe. I'm not sure. One of them stopped in this park and delivered a speech. I believe they were on the way to Fitchburg, which is where we're going. And at some point, I'm hoping that the grounds will be good enough that we can open it up and go faster. There's St. Leo's Church. Sorry if the camera goes crooked because the center of gravity tends to take over. Now it's natural to go aim for that sidewalk, but that's not where the rail. It's not where the rail system went. So this is going to be a long video. And for once, another hike. Albeit an urban hike, but it's a hike. And I plan on doing this again when the trail is finished, regardless of where the start point is, back at Mechanic Street where we were, or over at this intersection where it's supposedly going to actually start. This one we may have to stop the camera because I'm not going to record struggling to cross streets or anything. Especially, like I said, we aren't in any right-of-ways for any of them. And we might have to detour ever so slightly to hit a crosswalk. So we're hoping that's not going to happen, but probably will. And directly in front of you, across the street, is the aforementioned Sookie's Burgers and Fries. Well, burgers and fried chicken, but they have fries. I liked Crown, which used to be there after the KFC closed. But I have to say, Sookie's is a million times better. Alright, across the street moment, so we're going to stop the camera. This is going to be a no-win. Alright, that's where we came from, over there. We've crossed the street. Just had to wait a little bit. And this is where we are about to start. And this is a monument to Houghton Square. Pause if you want to read that. 3, 2, 1, gun. Gun it. Alright. At some point, this was actually not overgrown. And we've had a killing frost. Had a few killing frosts, so we don't have to worry about those nasty insects. And a postal worker. As you can see, it's kind of overgrown. I mean, people still walk it. It's still here. When I did the videos at the Sheridan, when I stayed there for the night, because neighbors I had at the time loved to have very loud New Year's Eve parties, and they would go till like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. And as much as I don't mind the celebrations, I do mind when they go that long. Wow, this is completely overgrown. All these pricklies around too, which is not fun either. They hurt. Okay, please let me move now. Alright. That was fun. There's still more of it. Like I said, after the frost, after the killing frost, I decided to do this because we know there would be some insects that are not good to deal with. Alright, this part of the railroad's cleared. This is Piper's Electrical. It used to be a church when it first opened. Then it failed and Piper's bought the place, and there we go. We should get some good views here. Over here is a small shopping plaza, and there's a historical significance to it, or is that it? I think it is. Or, nah, I'm thinking ahead. Actually, I might be right. Historical significance is that this building, interesting. Don't fix the ground, just do that instead. Nope, this isn't the building. It looks like it was a strip mall at some point at some time. It's actually a garage. All these doors pretty much kind of threw me off. Here's the Wellington, and you see that weird bump out on the top? That building used to have a floor up there. The hurricane of '38 literally blew the top floor off that piece of the building. Official wind gusts recorded during the hurricane of '38 topped out at 120 miles an hour. So it was a very, very bad storm. Yeah, it gets good, then it gets all overgrown again. Everything survived on this end. It's just this end, the top floor is blown off, hence why you got that one little piece sticking up. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, there's a clearing. It's just a fallen tree. I'm gonna be all scratched up when this is done. And a little bit of tall stuff back here. So this is where the rail trail will be. This part for sure. Where the Sookie's was for sure. This is the building I was thinking of. Right here, completely done over. This building, well, it's a strip mall, which oddly enough does not have a ton of back doors on it, was home to the first ever Victory supermarket, which then got bought out by Hannaford, I think in 2000 or so, somewhere near there. And I got pricklies in my legs. One of them was rubbing, which was very uncomfortable. And this is an addition that was put on recently, which now has an elevator, although it's a wheelchair lift. And we're coming up to Doyle Field, which opened in 1931. It used to be, and I mean used to be, home to a softball team called the Dirt Dogs, D-A-W-G-S. And the city revoked their... The city revoked their license. Well, look at this. Well, we got a roadblock. Well, apparently somebody claimed this as their backyard. That's an issue that's going to have to be addressed. Yeah, some people claim the backyard, so we're going to have to do a little... we're going to have to go up the street a little bit and re-enter at that point. Anyway, there's Doyle Field. And there's a dog that's not all that happy. So we'll pick it up further along that way. Alright, we're going to be walking just alongside the track. So we got that going for us. Here's Doyle Field. Here's the softball field made for the Dirt Dogs. And it had to be made compliant to a degree, and now it's just sitting there looking kind of... Well, I mean, they're keeping it up. And there's the trail. This is where somebody took claim of it. They're going to lose it when it comes through. Apparently somebody has also made the same claim over here. You can see where the track used to be, where it's all dirt. So I guess here's the point where we could resume, but there's no way in. We'll just keep it pointed in that direction because that's where the trail will be. It's all overgrown. Yeah, it's not going to be need to turn back for that. You're seeing what we're going to miss pretty much. And there's the fence go. Looks like somebody was trying to use it as a dump. Anyway, I got a ways to go to get back to this point because the entry is a little far away, but you're pretty much seeing what we got to see. So while we didn't walk this part, since a couple people decided to claim it as their own, squatter's right. Yeah, it ends pretty much right here on Priest Street. Yeah, it's all overgrown and completely covered up. So when we come back, we will be on this side of Priest Street right here, and hoping that we can still keep going. I remember that we could go all the way before. Here we are on the other side where Doyle Field is. You can see it's overgrown. People threw their lawn clippings and whatnot. There's Doyle Field, Priest Street. Now we're on the other side. Let's continue the adventure up the proposed trail. This part should be free and clear. I have done this part. I take it the fencing up was new. And someone's working over there in private property, so we'll aim to the side. Yeah, I mean, they're on their private property, so I will aim to the side. Even though I'm in the quote-unquote public space. Yeah, this part will be nice and open. As you can kind of see, we're on a raised bed because, of course, locomotives especially those carrying freight, do not handle hills very well. Oh, is this the washout? You know, I swore this part was fine before. Well, the good news is that this is not a very long journey to get to the other side. Although this kind of looks doable. Just gonna take a look and see though. It's big. Looks like people have done it. Yeah, this is the washout, but apparently people have made a walking path, so this is by far doable. I'll keep the camera rolling. Because of the leaves, I'm going to step to the side so that we'll have some traction on this grass. It's very steep. And I can see right there, they made a walking path back up to the tracks. Yeah, so this will be a part they're going to have to redo. Thought this would be the end all. But some people were pretty smart and figured out how to kind of make it work. Whoa. It's not that big of a jump. In fact, I just skipped over. Not that hard, actually. Alright, now we are at the hard part. How to get up from here. Gonna hold on to stuff. I see where we can go, but this is not fun. Oh, we got pricklies over here. Wonderful. There's all loose stuff too. So I'm trying to find something that's somewhat stable, and there's nothing. Alright, found something relatively stable. Alright. So here's the path up. Very steep one. I'm trying not to get poked in the eye, so I'm not going too fast up the hill. It's also slippery. Alright, we made it. That was fun. Not doing that again. Oh look, much easier way that way. Oh well. Is it worth doing if it's not a challenge? Alright. Back on track. There's Leominster Hospital. And a health clinic. And they're playing music, copyright galore. So let's try and move a little bit through here. Talkie, copyright strike. And over there, homeless people tend to congregate about. Alright, so we're talking through this music. Hopefully we're doing a good job. Hopefully it's not being recognized. I might have to do a little editing work if I have to. Either that or they'll hopefully just dub me a hit on the content ID and allow me to continue making ads if I forced silence in that section. Now here we are, Water Tower Plaza, minus a water tower. Behind there, supposedly a bunch of homeless people live. This all used to be Foster Grant Sunglass Company. Here's some remnants here. Driveway that used to go to an industrial building that was right there. Little piece of rail still here. Oh, we're on the rail. This is the railroad right here. Still visible. Surprised they didn't take that chunk out. This was Foster Grant Sunglass Company. Yes, that Foster Grant. Then they moved to a small place on Erdman Way, which we'll show you. We're not far from there. And then it all went to Mexico. And the building that Ocean State Job Lot and Michaels is in, that's one of the original buildings. The building the Shaw's is in is not. This is going to be a fun crossing over here. It starts to get more fun and exciting. Thought the washout was in Fitchburg, but apparently it was right there. Now I kind of remember the story pointing out it was actually where it was. All right, this is going to be fun. Let's see if we can do this. We might have to go up the street a little ways, hit the crosswalk, and continue. Because then we have another street. Maybe we don't have to. Let's find out. No one's coming that way. People are coming, but we'll move for them. All right. That's another original Foster Grant building. I think that's where their corporate offices were. And of course it became a bank. The city of Leominster is famous for having their banks. Okay, from this point on, you know what, I bet when I was using this, I only used it up to the plaza here. Then I just walked the street. Well, I know for certain, unless something drastically changed, that this should be free and clear up to Erdman Way, which again, not far from it. Finally getting to some points where we could probably open up the throttle a little bit. Haven't hit any place we could go fast and speed this video up. A little breezy today. Not too bad. Alrighty. Now you got this street to cross. The street that I never remember the name of. For all the 45 years I've lived here, whenever memorizing streets was a thing that you could do as a kid. Not me. And this looks like a challenge. So we're gonna have to pause the video and come back. Of course, as soon as I stop, a nice kid in a nice SUV decided to let me go, but I let him go because there wasn't anyone behind him and no one was coming the other way. So again, because I stopped the camera, that's when everything cleared up. All right. This is far more traveled area, so we can go faster. Now we're coming up to a train trestle, which they've added fencing to because it's now going to be a rail trail, and pedestrians are welcome to use this, as I believe, because they went through the trouble of putting fencing on low rails so that people can safely cross. And they've blocked this off now. This was free and open. I think it's actually typical trail type blockage where they're just trying to prevent vehicles from getting through, but people can. Because when you go to a hiking trail, you'll find similar stuff like this, whether it's a fence, a gate. They'll leave openings on the side so people can actually get through, but vehicles cannot. If they didn't want people going through, why would they go through the trouble of putting up a fence to keep people from going over the edge? As you can kind of see, the rail is a bit low, so it's easy to fall over. And here's Route 2. The direction going away from you is Boston. The direction going that way heads to Albany, New York. Alrighty. Now we're coming upon Erdman Way. We have, when I was here, the Sheridan, which at the time was 4 points. Now it's the Doubletree by Hilton. That office building there used to have the Registry of Motor Vehicles. They moved to a place at the Sterling border. Central Street, Leominster. Not many people, although that's kind of overflow parking, but still. Airplane! We're not that far from the Fitchburg Municipal Airport. Finally, it's gotten flat enough that we can go a little bit faster. Gets a little hilly over here. This is a new building that was built. I think it was all built because of the massive traffic that the DMV has. Plus there's also a BJ's Wholesale Club. And speaking of Erdman Way, that's the next crossing. And here we are. This was all overflow parking for the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Just wasn't enough parking. While we're here, there's the Days Inn, which originally was a Super 8. And there's a Friendly's, which originally was a Howard Johnson's. And there's Marshall's, that it's always been there. Home Goods, that used to be, back in the day, Leominster Food Market and Food Warehouse when I was a kid. It was a supermarket. Then where Party City is, used to be Prime Value Mart. If you know what Service Merchandise is, or was, I should say. It literally was their sister company. Marshall's, where the entrance was, used to be a little shopping mall. Like 5 or 6 stores. Usually at least 2 of the 6 vacant. And at the very end, there's a urgent care center. That used to be where Blockbuster Video was. And now we're going to have to see which is going to get a green light and go from there. Oh, these people. So we're going to stop and continue. Now we're on the other side. There's the Home Goods. And like I said before, being where the center of gravity is for this camera, when it gets comfortable, it winds up being crooked because of the center of gravity. And we got some kids. Nothing to really look at on the other side, so we'll aim this way. Yeah, this is a side we normally see people walking this. So this side has to be taken care of fairly well. Like I said, too close of quarters, I'm not going to. And it's not really anything official. Yeah, now we got someone on a bicycle. Never noticed that before. Again, we're elevated because we know how well trains can climb hills. Alright. Until this becomes an actual bona fide public space, I will aim away. As I've said, the people that own this know that people use it, and they don't mind. Yeah, it's kind of a use at your own risk deal. Although the Fitchburg side is way better. So I head back to Leominster. Once I hit the that shopping plaza, the Water Tower list, which, by the way, when that was Foster Grant's, there was a water tower there. When they knocked down most of the plant and opened up the establishment, there still was a water tower, and it had the name on the water tower. Then they found the land underneath the tower was contaminated, and they had to tear it down. They cleaned up the land and found it not feasible to rebuild it or put up a symbolic replica. Big Steve's Car Wash, that used to be Plaza Car Wash. That was the first car wash I was ever brought to without my knowledge, and as a little kid it scared me to death. One of these days during the off season, which would be the summer, kind of like the Otis elevator inside McKay Campus School, the one that replaced the freighter that was in the back, do that too for a quote-unquote, you know, close the circle. Because, I mean, you've seen I can do car washes without freaking out. There are people that are adults that freak out in car washes. So, I mean, as a tiny kid that was like 6, 7 years old, that was frightening. When my mother found out that the bus company that did that went through the wash, she was livid and called the bus company. Talkie, talkie, copyright, copyright. Fortunately, it's not very long. Wonder how this gets when we go to Fitchburg. And I'm seeing signs that this may be a dead end. And there's no sign or way to get up. Oh no, it's just grass. The way it was sticking up, it almost looked like a fence. But then again, it's a street, so a little hop over fence is no big deal. This should be an easy crossing. Still in Leominster. Where that clearing is, I believe, yeah, it's Mason's Bowling. Yeah, just making sure. Everything's still good. Alright, this is starting to look like maybe we're hitting the less traveled areas again. Now this goes all the way to downtown Fitchburg. And we're getting pretty close to the border. And over here is a condo complex or an apartment complex. It's a gated one. And they have their own traffic light to get out, because it's very hard. Unless you want to turn right, but still, even then. I used to know somebody that lived there, and my school bus picked somebody up there. And the gatekeeper was supposed to leave the gate open so the bus could get in. One time they didn't. So at that point, somebody opened the gate for him. And the owners of the property gave him a key, so if it were locked, he could get out of the bus and unlock it himself. And here's the Hyundai dealership. Yeah, we're starting to get into the less traveled again. So if it becomes impassable, then maybe we'll pick it up. And if we get far enough along, we'll just walk like we did at Doyle Field, because people claimed private property as their private property. They decided to claim it as their own. We had to walk besides it. If we have to do that again, and we've gone far enough, we'll do it again. Yeah, this is a sprawling complex. It goes a long way. Yeah, I had to bend some rock slides here. This definitely is not original. The last time I've seen any form of train on these tracks was at Doyle Field, and it was 1989, and we hit a dead end. Well, that sucks. Let's see where we can continue from. No trespassing. Someone is going to lose that spot. We're on the other side of the illegal land claim the Hyundai dealership has made. When the rail trail goes through, they're going to lose it. So we're on the opposite side of the stretch there. There might have been something else as well, but here are those apartments again. And we're continuing this way towards Fitchburg. So I had to actually walk this part of it to get to where I was, more or less. And let me tell you, a lot of people think this is the perfect place to dump things. A lot of things junked right here. It's flat enough we can go a little faster than normal. So we start to see things. Oh, there's a CRT television right there. The worthless Chinese-built stuff. Although for gamers, those things are like gold. I think people are forgetting that part. Because some of the games that require a light gun won't work on a modern day TV because of the input lag. Oh, a ton of stuff dumped here. I swore I cleaned the lens on this thing. Looks like we're getting that halo effect. Well, most of the time we're facing away from it, so should be okay. There's some houses over here. Didn't notice this one. Oh, this is an oldie. It got destroyed. Yeah, there's nothing left. Nothing left of that one. Oh, prickly things. They hurt. See if I've got any on me. I think I brushed one off. All right. Been going at this for almost an hour. Although the video won't be that long because of, waiting to cross streets, retracing my steps so we can get as much of this trail as possible. Which, of course, when the thing's all said and done, it'll be a straight blow-through, pretty much. Except for the street crossings. There we go, we got business here. They have a sign that says cameras are in use, but we're only interested in the trail. And there's a brick triple-decker. That is where Fitchburg begins. As well as CJ's Auto Body and Repair. We're good. Again, this should be fairly easy to do. And Fitchburg's not immune to dumping in this particular trail. Oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. As long as we don't come across more not very technically legal land claims. Although, like I said, you can call it squatters' rights. Oh, we can blaze through this part. Inside of a few rocks, it's pretty stable, pretty flat. See where it goes. Fitchburg might be the easiest part. No trespassing. Premise under 24-hour guarding camera surveillance. Well, we're not on your property. Nor am I interested. Benson Street. This one can be busy. It also can be easy. Apparently I chose the wrong time. I'm not going to stop because there's only these two vehicles. It goes all the way to Airport Road over there. Of course, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is coming this way now. So I'm just waiting to cross. Go ahead. Oh, this woman's letting me by. Thank you. Interesting. Self-storage. I was going to stop the camera, but again, someone decided to be nice about it. I think we're in the clear at this point. Unless this only goes to the next busiest street and then dies off. More TVs. And now I've seen what the Trinitron mask looks like. It's just wires that help the red, green, and blue guns aim at the proper phosphors on the screen. I've seen shadow masks, but I've never seen a Trinitron wire system. That's why when you see an older Sony TV, it has that unique looking picture tube where it's perfectly flat vertically, but it's curved horizontally. It has to be perfectly flat vertically to stretch those wires. Actually, this side looks a little smoother. I would have thought the Fitchburg stretch would be the easy one. Although now that I said that, it's probably going to be completely grown over. Storage still. Pretty big facility. actually think it's another one. I believe it's another one. Roly-poly hills here, which weather over time, because this definitely is not the railroad bed. And now it starts to get crappy again. And there's down trees up ahead. Of course, I'm not using the optic stabilization camcorder because if I build a rhythm, the image stabilizer will literally just start swinging like a pendulum, and you'll just get a picture that swings very wildly. I've learned that mistake. Yeah, a couple down trees. Actually, it's starting to get a little iffy here as well. Still not too bad. Easier to duck under this one and climb over this one. And we got people coming. Busy neighborhoods over here. Somewhat busy street over there. Apparently it's still passable further up. Smells like someone was smoking weed over here. I was gonna say it was that guy, but nope. It's strong way over here too. More dead TVs. And now it gets confusing. See a trail that goes that way. But this is actually easier over here. Yeah, they got some cleaning up to do, for sure. Oh wow, I'm already at the Dollar Tree in Fitchburg. Just shows you how amazing these railroads can be, as they can't make tight turns or what have not, so they have to. Oh boy. Big pricklies over here. This is definitely overgrown. Alright, up the hill, down the hill, or try to stay on the hill. Way to go. All right. This definitely needs to be fixed. And it's actually blocked off. So I wonder where it comes out to. Yeah, we lost it somewhere. Over the fence we go. Yeah, it's pretty much impassable. So we're gonna have to take the street to the next part. There's the Dollar Tree. There's a street down here, not that far away. There's the railroad bed. I mean, it's clearly visible. In fact, it actually might be clear. So I might do is just go down and take a look. I'm sure in these busy streets, people wonder what the hell I'm doing. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it'll happen. Yeah, we're on the railroad bed again. Wouldn't be surprised if suddenly an officer comes around and asks what I'm doing. Yeah, apparently this area hasn't been walked through that much. But it's doable. And if somebody did another illegal claim to land, yeah, it's starting to look like that. Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. Another illegal grab of the land. We'll stop here, come back in another spot. Either this is I think this is the land grab that we just come across. If not, it's another one. We're trying our best to show you what we can, and we know it's not going to be 100%. But we're pretty much continuing from what I believe is the point that we left off. So if not, there was another land grab in between. Well, like I said, when this actual project is all done, outside of crossing streets, this should be one fell swoop. This one is literally right up against someone's property. He dumped his leaves in the trail. So I've already, of course, did this little section again. As we are now, should I say, we're doing it again. Something's abandoned over here. Although that bricked in part, it looks like someone tried to break in. are getting fairly close to our destination. The fun thing is walking back, unless there's a train coming close to the time that I'm there, and I'll just ride it in. And of course, as soon as I get to this very run-down street that almost no cars are ever on, somebody has to be there. It always works out that way. Alright, so we're in an area that looks... Okay, here's a set of condos. It's built on site of a car wash. Well, the car wash only took up a small portion of the parcel. The rest of it's condos. It's supposed to be... I thought it was posted when they were building it as commercial space and condos, but apparently just went condo instead. So they, for the most part, they're getting somewhat close at this point. Then when we get to the park, hopefully on the trail, if not, maybe it could retrace like I've been doing. I know some of you like hiking videos and have been waiting forever for one of them. So we got ourselves an urban hiking video. So, yeah, now we got music blaring in the background, so I'm probably just going to stop right here and wait for them to go away. Or maybe not. Let's keep going as I talk over it, talkie. I know this sounds really dumb, but I kind of have to do this in order to prevent copyright problems. So, yeah, we got to keep talking, and we're going to walk a little faster just to get by it a little faster. And over here, we have more TVs that are broken and discarded on the street. That was... Oh, wow, look at all this crap. Speaking of, literally. Well, isn't that something? Anyway, we're going to keep talking as we go through here. As like I said, the YouTube copyright police are not very nice to us at all. Facebook, on the other hand, the copyright owner has to prove the intent is to steal their stuff. So, yeah, that Facebook, it's a lot easier, but YouTube is the stuff that makes me the money. So that's where this is going. Yeah, this is a lot easier for the most part, but it's also the more trashed. Like I said, it's actually getting a little windy out. I know it's supposed to be breezy, but it's getting a little more than that now. It's still not bad. It's supposed to be a chance of rain tonight. Like I said, because of the center of gravity on this camera, if I'm not looking down, the picture might tilt on you a little bit. In terms of its gravity, I have to hold it a little off-center to keep it straight. Yeah, this section's pretty well taken care of. Yeah, I might just do this section, get back onto the streets, and walk the rest of the way home. That is, if there ain't a train. here's something we haven't seen. Well, there was one on the way when we first started, but I didn't stop and look at it. Anyway, this used to be a line that went from Fitchburg to Framingham, and I don't know when it was discontinued. But I know freight trains have used it, or trains of some sort have used it up till the late 80s. And then it just sat vacant. Then in the early 2000s, they were planning this rail trail that we're walking. They went and ripped out all the rails, and they stopped there. Finally, 2018, they're going to start this project. Not sure when it'll be done. Not sure where they're going to actually start. But finally have a trail that connects the two downtowns, more or less. Like I said, it might... The original start was Sookie's. More TVs there. That one might be a widescreen that was junked. It was funny because I remember reading several years ago when everybody was moving towards the plasmas and the LCDs, and LCOS was a thing at the time. Well, I not mean LCOS, I mean the rear projections, yes, but I meant the OLEDs. They were asking technological experts if CRTs are going to go the way of the dodo bird, shall we say. And they said they'll never die. There will always be a need for a CRT style display in some way, shape, or form. Well, guess what? That died several years ago. Completely. I don't even think anybody rebuilds them anymore. So if you got a vintage TV set, good luck finding parts. Good luck finding a replacement tube. Yeah, now we're getting pretty close to... Getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close to where Grossman's lumberyard used to be. And then it was a Halloween store, obviously seasonal. I think they tried all year round and it didn't work, so it became seasonal. Then the owner at the time stopped that business because it wasn't doing so hot, and tried to make it a flea market, but the building had a lot of violations. So another guy bought the building, fixed it all up, and it all complies. So now it's a flea market, and we will be behind it fairly soon. Well, there's the railroad ties. I think the railroad's over here, not over here, but this is where the trail is. And down there somewhere, there used to be a mill. I don't remember what they made, but it was abandoned, and then somebody set it on fire. Might even come across the driveway. We should, actually. And here's the driveway I mentioned. And of course, just to keep vehicles from getting through, they block it off, but they leave spaces for people. Because that's a common thing that they do on hiking trails. And this is the driveway that used to go to an industrial building. It's not there anymore. long gone. Again, they open it up for people. I'm not even sure which way this goes. Oh, actually, these rails kind of tell us where it goes. Kind of perplexed as to where it goes from here. And it goes behind the building. Yeah, I guess it came out over here somewhere. Yeah, I can kind of see it. It's over that way. It's next to the railroad that is actually in use. Yeah, I can see the path. This place took it over a long time ago. This is not theirs, it's another land grab. In fact, I can see a bit of it over here. This used to be Grossman's. It was a big lumber yard. See, the graffiti artists had their way with it. I'm beginning to wonder if this is going to be a possible thing. This might be a mission abort. We've gone all this way, but we're not going to stop till we hit the park, at least. Yeah, I think it keeps going. I think this is it right here. If it becomes part of the main railroad, then I'm going to have to say that I might have to double back, find the park, and then hopefully find the right answer. Although I know I've said this before and been wrong, but it looks like we might be okay. Here's the 5th Street Bridge. It was replaced. This is the replacement of the original one that fell into major disrepair. This one's being cable stayed. Whoops, I hit the camera. The other one wasn't. And the whole thing was that the original bridge was condemned. It literally couldn't hold any weight. Now I'm doubting where this goes. It's positive that this went to a rail trail. Well, we got a way out on 5th Street if we can't do it. Because I am not going to go any further. I see the rail system. Here we are under the bridge. Yeah, I see the original rail, but are we getting to the park that it goes to? You see they ripped it up here. Worst case, you just piggyback to the bridge over there. Yeah, I have a feeling that this comes to a dead end. Yeah, I have a feeling we've hit the dead end. So, yeah. Yeah, it looks like our rail trail went cold. Completely cold. because it's joining up with this stuff. We're still on it. We're still on it. Oh, this kind of sucks. I guess we're gonna head the other way and do another piggyback. Well, that was a total fail. I mean, just where I was when they started blocking off the abandoned section and you had the 2 live rails, at that point I would have been trespassing, so I made the right call and doubled back at the 5th Street Bridge. You're not missing much. It's just a straight, slow turn, just like that, all the way to here. And the thing is, here's the tracks. And the third one that's not really too visible, I mean, it's still kind of there. That's supposed to be connecting to this park. How's that going to work? How are they going to do that? I mean, it's a nice little park. There's nothing really here to see. It's just a nice little place to take your kids. So there's kids up there, so I'm not going to bother going too deep into this. And here it is, the Fitchburg Riverfront Park, already graffiti-tized. Here's what you kind of can see. And there's what it kind of looks like. Alright, I'm just going to go to these and pause if you want to read these 2 sections. 3, 2, 1. Pause if you want to read this section. 3, 2, 1. Pause if you want to read this. 3, 2, 1. And here's 2 more sections. Pause if you want to read them. 3, 2, 1. Done. So I mean, basically all it is it's just an open space. Little green space around it. Kids can ride their bikes and the ramps and everything. It's in the middle of Fitchburg. I forgot what was here. But, well, more or less, that's about 90-95% of the rail trail. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, we can actually do the whole thing. Freight train. You know, since I'm killing time before heading home, I got this park to myself, so let's walk it anyway. But before we do that, near this spot in 1775 stood the store of Earthham Kimball, I think it says. It was a rendezvous Fitchburg's Minuteman made at 9 a.m. on the 19th of April, 1775. The alarm gun was fired. A company of 42 men under Captain Ebenezer Bridge. Our road marched. It's clearly shows marched on the camera, but it looks like something completely different in person. Marched for Concord. When they arrived at the same evening, another company under Captain Ebenezer Woods followed the same day. So this park marks a historic moment. I'm telling you, that word marched on camera, it was clear as day. In person, far from it. I thought it was someone's last name, Monroe, which is weird, but got this big empty space here. Wonder what it could have been, or it's intentionally this. Steps down to a walking path that's completely dead end over there. Whoa! Oh, little stairs here. A little too small, actually. Goes by the brook. Dead end here. Not sure what the purpose of it is. just to stand and watch the brook go by, I guess. Dangerous slippery rocks, do not go beyond here. So as I was saying, I was probably going to take the train back home, and that's what I am going to do. And they appear to have, yes, they've redone this bridge. This bridge has been long condemned. Now we got names in here. Try not to step on any of the names. I don't like to do that. They redid the bridge. They put this nice stainless steel railing on it on both sides. Nice new wooden deck. Although I think it might need a little bit of attention, especially right here. That's not good, although it's solid under there, believe it or not. Although the way this is all riveted in, I can imagine it'll be fun trying to get that out. Like I said, we're just going to take a lap around the park to end this video. I was going to end it where I ended it. I decide why not. Yeah, I did clean the lens. I guess it's still a little dirty because it's all foggy looking. Shouldn't be. And then here's another semicircle space. Not sure what might be intended for that. Meanwhile, I'm staring right at the moon. Almost half phase. There's the freight train going by again. Just a simple little park. I think there was a building here at some point, or something was here. I wouldn't know. It was always off to the side. So we turned it into a nice little park area. And hard to imagine that they hold festivals here. Seems like a tiny space for it, but I can see that it could work. I mean, Carter Park in Leominster's not all that much bigger. It's longer, but they manage. So this will actually be the end of the video. I might enjoy a walk around. Bones. And I don't want to really know. Anyway, this is, as I was saying, the end of the video. We got 95 or around 95% of the rail trail. Others were blocked off, claimed where they shouldn't be claimed, and another section that the MBTA claimed, and the original Pan Am part was abandoned and blended in with the MBTA's property. So now I will say this is it. George F551 saying, hope you enjoyed what we could give you. Have a good one, and hopefully the next time we'll have a completed trail and it will go a lot faster.